Well, hello everyone. We're doing our deck profile for the deck that we came up with. We are calling it going second Kaido or blind second Kaido, because that's the whole idea of the deck. You choose to go second with him, and yeah, Andrew got first 2 tournaments in a row here. And we think it's a really powerful deck. This is probably the best way to play Kaido in our humble opinion. We haven't had any bad matchups yet. Yeah, let him take over.
So yeah, what's up guys? Andrew here, giving you guys deck profile for our purple Kaido deck. I played this one a lot online on the simulator, and then I started bringing it to locals earlier this week. I won that one. And I won today as well, undefeated. So I think it's like 10-0, 12-0 now. It's a very, very good deck. Basically, the concept behind it is you want to go second all the time. Usually your opponent forces you to go second anyways, which is fine for you. Our logic behind that is that you have more chances of hitting the Onigashima Island, which is what makes your deck very strong. And then we play our curve to maximize the abilities of our cards going second, because we will assume our opponent makes us go second, and we will choose to go second. If you go first, it's fine as well. It's not like Kaido's a bad deck going first by any means, but it's felt pretty good going second. So the leader, pretty basic, obviously, 5 life, purple, Dawn -7, burn them. You just use that to win or close out the game once you've established control. So yeah, let's get into it. First thing we play is 4 field, obviously, 4 stage. Our objective with the deck is to make the deck as good as possible without seeing this card, because when you do see this card, your deck fires on all cylinders and is just probably the most powerful deck. In most scenarios, it's very hard for your opponent to match the power level of your cards when you have this getting you there sooner than they can compete. So the deck is designed to be very defensive and maximizes the island, but can also play without it pretty well, and I'll explain the cards that help us with that. So 4 island. Gonna go over the events now. We play 4 Blast Breath, just staple. Every Kaido deck should play 4. 1 mana 4K, defend your leader, plus to go up to 9, so it becomes very difficult to push in the late game when you're leaving up Dawn, because you can represent multiple of these, or you can also represent Thunder Bagua. So I play 4 Thunder Bagua. I have multiple purposes for this card. It's a trigger in the early game, so when you don't see your island but you hit this in your trigger, you can keep up in Dawn and get to your plays quickly enough. And then late game, you can use it after they put you down to 2 life, which you shouldn't defend so aggressively with this deck. In fact, going second, you should probably take the first hit if you don't have the stage, so that you get an additional look at it. You want to maximize. That's happened a lot where it's the first card in my life. You want to maximize the chances of you drawing it if you don't have it already, so you can see additional cards going second. But then Thunder Bagua lets you, once you've taken that life aggressively in the early game, you leave up either a Blast Breath or a Thunder Bagua at every point in the game after you do a big Dawn minus effect, and that way you get your Dawn back while also applying the keeping your defense up. So I'll showcase that with this card coming up. So you have Brachio Bomber. It's another card that gives you Dawn trigger, and it's really good for the games that you don't see the stage, because it lets you, once again, keep your Dawn equity while removing something on board and getting you to your big bomb without needing the stage. So it's very good in the mirror as well. It just hits a lot of the threats like Basil Hawkins, Law, 5-drop Luffy, Queen. There's just a lot of really good targets for this card. I played at 3 just because I don't want to see too many of it, but it has been very good on curve going second, because you can play it on your 3rd turn. So that's really nice. Then we go through the defensive 2K counter. We play 4 of this one. This one we just play because sometimes against green, they'll drop a lot of the searchers, like the Momos and the Bonnies, and if you're just only using your leader to clear them because you're playing your stage the next turn, you can drop this in response. You get a cool little effect to look through your deck so that you can see what's in your life, which is fine, but mostly you just want to play this so you can attack their small bodies, and that way you're not getting too far behind in card advantage in that matchup. You don't need it sucks to lose the 2K counter, but it's worse to let them keep searching. For Sasaki, you can play this on curve to ramp if your hand is just really heavy and you don't have Brachio Bomber, you don't have anything going for you. You can play it on your second turn, Probably swing 6 with lead into something, and put this guy out so that you can, on the following turn, get to your plays. So it kind of doubles up as like a ramper and a 2K counter. It doesn't happen very often. I usually just counter with him, but at least he has that situation. X-Drake, similar thing. You usually just counter with him, but there's situations where you don't have anything else to play from hand because your hand is full of defense, and you can just drop him just to get a 2-for-1 on your opponent, which is fine. 4 of the 2K blocker, the 3, just a better stat line, blocks against Shanks, which is really nice. And then a lot of times I'll just attack with this. Like, I don't always just block with it immediately. I'll just leave it on board, let them deal with it. If they rest it and attack it, it blocked. If not, then I can use it to attack their little weenies. And then if they don't attack it, I just get a free 3K body. So it's really nice that he's a 2-mana 3K blocker. Black Maria, this is really nice going second on curve if you don't have Onigashima, because you can just drop this as your turn 2, and then now you have a 5K body. You're not supposed to block with it there. You just defend the hits or take the life as normal, because you don't want to lose Dawn. But every point from there on, you have a 5K body, and you just start swinging with it. And if it gets attacked, that's fine as well, because it basically blocked for you in that situation. And then late game, she's obviously a really good 6K blocker, because when you have the Dawn -1 effect, she becomes a 6K for the turn. So she's really efficient, she's really nice. Yeah, and she can't be 7 dropped in the mirror, so they have to like use a bigger removal, which is better for you. Then you have 4 Queen, best card in the format. This card is busted. Basically, it taxes your opponent for being a 6K blocker, so now it's hard for them to swing 5 into you. You get to draw and filter out your dead and useless cards. And this deck has a lot of draw power compared to the same amount of draw power, but I added an additional little bit so that I can see more cards. Because I'm running a little bit light on threats and very heavy on defense, so I just want to keep filtering my hand to find what I need at those points in the game. But yeah, usually she's very important after the turn that you do your big 10 drop, because then you'll be at 7 Dawn with the island, and then you can play this and hold up a Thunder Bagua to recover your Dawn and give you some defense. Very good. 3 of Kyoshiro. I like this guy a lot. Don't see many builds playing him, but basically he's slightly worse power-wise than the 5-mana 7K Babanuki, but he has the same counter, he has the same cost, but going second, you should be at 8 Dawn on your 3rd turn, because you can go islands, put you to you go to 5, then you ramp to 7, then you go to 8, and then that lets you draw a card when you play this on that turn. So it lets you filter, and it's kind of like a free body, so it's nice. Like, you can just play this, and then the next turn you play the 10 drop, and you just don't care because this guy replaced himself, so he'll just like swing at leader for 6. You filter the card, sometimes you draw the cards that you need, and then you just blow up the board anyways. But you don't lose Dawn, because you can't lose Dawn if you want to play the 10 drop the next turn. So that's really nice about it. I play 3 of this fat guy. Basically, he's there for the mirror, because 7 drops are very hard to enter in the mirror, and whoever drops the 10 drop first in the mirror loses. So basically, you just drop this guy. He can't be answered by any other way. I mean, if they try to attack him, it's a failed experiment. So they basically have to 10 drop if they want to answer this guy, or just keep eating his attacks, which is much more efficient than like playing a 9 drop or a 10 drop and not using the Dawn minus effect, because those are just like really heavy statted, but 9 gets the job done, so it's the most efficient way. You can play this plus a blocker, or this plus hold up your counters for the turn, so it's a really efficient body to play in the late game. And he has combos, so he's not dead in other matchups. And then finally, to the actual like only like bombs or whatever that you have in the deck, I play 3 kings to catch up and clear away blockers, so that way your 10 drop can get through a little bit easier. You want their blockers to at least cost them a little bit, so this and Brachio Bomber is your way of getting through them. And then you just basically just wipe out like a Zoro or Nami in like the red matchup. Against Law, it's also very good because you get to keep their board clean, keep them off of their 5 person effect. I usually don't play this on curve unless I'm like super behind and I have nothing else to do, but he comes up a lot later in other matchups where they try to defend the 10 drop and they don't want to die, and you can just play this and kill them through it. And then finally I play 3 10 drop. This is the boss monster of the deck. This is what I want to get to. I only play 3. You could play it at 4 because it's that important. But basically, you almost always, your objective with this deck is to try and resolve this card on turn 4 if possible. If you resolve this on turn 4, you're usually winning most games. Because from there you can just recover, play defense, and your opponent is just going to be in a really tricky situation because nothing that they play on board is ever going to live, because you just get to kill it with the Kaido, or you just start pressuring their life total and they're on a clock. So I like resetting the game. It's really good against literally any threat that your opponent can imagine putting on the board. They have to consider, oh, he's going to play a 10 drop. And then there's some situations where you 10 drop on top of your 10 drop if they get a better board than you, which usually doesn't happen. Usually 1 is enough. But there are situations where you play 2. And it's very, very important in the mirror because whoever bites first on using a big Kaido is going to get punished by the guy going second and using their Kaido. So this is the guy. I play this in every single matchup against red, blue, green, all the colors. He comes down. Sometimes you don't have time to do it against red, but even if you have a decent curve, you can still do it. I played 2 games today where I dropped him on curve and it was fine. Basically what you want to do with the deck is get to 10 Dawn, play this, then you ramp, so you'll be at 5, and then from there you're going to just do your 5 mana plays, which are these, and then leave up a Thunder Bagua or Blast Breaths every single turn. So that's, you're just playing defense. They obviously can never kill this unless they have their own board wipe. And then you just keep playing defense and your hand starts getting really, really big because all you're doing is drawing cards. And then once the time comes, you push away their blockers and you get through and you just kill them. It's been really effective for me so far. There's a lot of neat tricks and tips for the deck, but I could go on and on. It's just you need experience and you play the matchups. You understand when you take damage, when you don't take damage, and you keep your hand equity as well as possible. Like, there's a lot of games, even today, where I won at 0 life. We'll try to showcase them on the gameplay videos, and it's just I go to 1 or 0 life very, very aggressively because I know what my deck's I know the numbers that I can hit on defense and how far I can stretch every Dawn that I have. So it's a really good deck. Try it out. It looks simple, but it is really effective.
We're gonna have some gameplay video after this video probably. And we're probably going to commentate over it and try to give some insights of how the deck plays or how you should be playing this deck to the most efficient way that at least we consider it's the best way to play the deck. And that's it. Thank you for watching.